Meeting to order for June the 10th, 2025, regular council meeting. I'd like to welcome our one visitor we have here this evening. We'll roll out the welcome mat. Notation of councillors in attendance.
Yes.
Good. Could I have a motion for approval of the agenda for tonight, please? Moved by Councillor Forbes, by the seconder. Seconded by Councillor Brewer. Any questions on the agenda? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, if any, motion carried. Do we have any conflicts of interest this evening with anything on the agenda? Hearing none, we're good. We have no delegates this evening. Approval of the previous meeting minutes. Could I have a motion for approval of the minutes, please? Made by Councillor Drake, by the seconder. Seconded by Councillor Downing. Errors, omissions, or questions on the minutes? I have one, I guess. And it's 14, when we come out of closed session. See that? Seconded by Councillor Jared Forbes and seconded by Deputy Mayor Jared Forbes. So probably just changed, I think you seconded that. So we just changed the name on that. Any other errors, omissions, or questions? Okay, all those in favor? Contrary minded, if any, motion carried. Business arising from the previous meeting minutes. Do we have any? Okay, we're all good. We have no correspondence this evening. Committee reports. We have the committee of the whole meeting minutes from May the 27th, 2025. And I have a motion to accept those minutes, please. Moved by Deputy Mayor Brownlow as a seconder. Seconded by Councillor Downey. Any errors, omissions, or questions on the committee of the whole minutes? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, if any, motion carried. Our treasurer's report will be at the next meeting in June. We'll move on to our chief administrator officer's report.
Thank you. Just a quick few lines here. The meeting with the City of Frederick and planning staff has been postponed for our overview of PID 75127977. It has been determined that we get a land survey. I'm in the process of finding a company. The surveyor will provide an AutoCAD file showing the property boundaries, which will assist the planner with their process. For fire services reporting, the chiefs will be here at the next regular meeting to provide the reports. And there will be a mailer this week of the notice that Buoyant Alert is now active. There will be a little postcard in your mailbox advising of the service and how to register. Thank you. The second part of my report is the consolidated financial statement draft.
We'll do a motion for your first report first. And also my fault, I waited too long. So could we have a motion to approve the CAO report, please? Moved by Councillor Brewer, seconded by Councillor Downey. Any questions on the report? Hearing none, all those in favor? Contrary minded, if any, motion carried. Okay.
We will review the consolidated financial statement for 2024. The first two pages are the standard auditor's letter in front of every financial statement. We'll get you to turn to page 3. Right away you'll notice that 2024 was a lot different year than 2023. The biggest difference is that we accepted ownership of the firehouse and equipment, and you'll see that under Note 8, Tangible Capital Assets, $2,682,820 compared to last year, compared to 2023 of $40,443. If you turn to page 4, gives you a breakdown of your budget and how it went through the year. You'll see your property tax tax warrant. What you received, services provided to other governments, this is all under revenue, sorry. There was a unexpected increase in revenue from other government. The government transfers, so that's what you'll see for other government transfers. The budget was $152,509, but we took ownership of the fire assets. See here, and then you have your rental income from the purchase of the building. For expenses, you see that the government services was below budget. Protective services was below budget. Transportation services was below budget. Environmental health services was below, and the reason for that is the tipping fees for last year were not as high as anticipated, or what we were told to budget for, and also we never spent any of our unsightly premises budget, so that was $30,000. And recreation and cultural services, I was a little over budget. So for 2024, your accumulated surplus end of year is $3,101,258. Turn to page 5, this is more of a breakdown of accepting the fire assets. You see it says acquisition of tangible capital assets, $2,642,377. You turn to page 6. Basically, it's showing what is really noticeable here is the cash at the beginning of the year versus the cash that we had as of December the 31st in the account. Turn to page 9. On this page, I just want to point out that the change in HST receivable versus 2023, that amount of $81,623 is actually what we received back from HST because of the purchasing that we do for the fire department. I think our overall, it's going to show up here in a second on these pages, but our overall HST paid was roughly $120,000. On page 10, this is 2024 was the first year that you've ever received your CCBF funding up front. So you received 2 installments for that amount, and it's approximately that for the next year. The next few years will be, it slightly increases over time, but it's approximately $294,000 that you receive in CCBF funding. And then you'll see the debenture with the New Brunswick Municipal Finance Corporation for $205,000 for purchase of our building. And then has a breakdown of the principal payments for the debenture. Page 11, and this is for your tangible capital assets. Your land, assets, that includes the land for this building and the land for the fire halls. The auditors go by the CYRC property assessed value for land and buildings, so that's why if you go over to the next buildings, I know insurance-wise, replacement value is a lot more than what you're looking at there. It's probably 3 times that, if not more. But they go by the CYRC assessed value. Vehicles, they have their depreciation value based on the year of the equipment, and this is what took a lot of time this year to figure out part of this audit, the new stuff. So. Turn to page 13. basically he's talking about capital borne board expenses, you know, and also, the reoccurring, fees that we pay for solid waste services and all of that, anything that we lease. So they have a breakdown of what they anticipate the next few years will be. If you notice anything on this that I have circled, don't pay any attention to that, I just have a question for the auditor. If you turn to page 14, if you look at where I have circled other government transfers, I knew that we were getting something, but we got the assistance from RBC to purchase the building, which increased the transfer quite a bit. You can see your expenses for, as the breakdown, wages, employee benefits, goods and services. Turn to page 15. This is the surpluses that you have. So in the general operating fund, at the end of 2024, you'll see an amount of $300,036. That will be your surplus brought forward for the 2026 budget. Then you have your general capital fund or general operating fund, and you'll see what your balance is in there, but obviously it's including your assets, like your building, so that's why it's so much. Capital general reserve, there was an amount in there, but that's interest where there used to be money, and it's been transferred over to the general capital fund. General operating reserve, you'll see the 50,000 in there. That was your, obviously your transfer to the operating reserve. So in total, your annual fund surplus is $2,791,522. Page 16 is notes for the consolidated financial statements. Does anybody have any questions so far? Turn to page 17. For your operating budget to the PSAT budget, which is the required standard for accounting for your municipal audits. It basically just has a breakdown of what your budget was for 2024 and your transfers to the reserves. Page 18. You can see that our fire protection revenue predicted was a lot lower than what we received. A lot of that is because of the when the fire services provide assistance to the Department of Natural Resources, there's revenue, and they provided a lot of assistance over 2024, and the how do I put this? The revenue that's created by that, part of that goes towards the firefighters for their hours of service or their call to service. And then some of that revenue comes to us because we own the equipment, and that's why it would be hard to predict, honestly, how much that's going to be. You can see your rental income once again.
And that's only for part of the year, right?
Yes. And then on the very last line, line, you'll see that we predicted this, that's building permit revenue, we budgeted 50, we got 62,966. So. On page 19, we have a breakdown of your general government services. Things are pretty standard there. Counselors, there was a little drop. Essentially, just so you know, sorry, the mayor, that one line for 30,500, that's not what the mayor gets. That's a combination of the mayor and the mayor. So they lump it into the same category. Under your counselors, one reason for the drop is you have an expense budget and nobody ever really uses it. The money, sorry?
Say that louder.
No one uses it. So,
Councilors do not use their expense budget.
I'm thinking this year, I don't know if anyone will be going to the UMD conference in Fredericton. You'd have to, you would have to register. Long story short, you have not used your expenditure budget. So, and that's not the, it was a similar in the previous year. You have your administrative fees. How do I put this? You'll see that I budgeted for my own salary, 94,780, and you'll see what the actual was, but that was due to, I underestimated the employer portion of CPP and EI, and yeah. Under clerk, Karina, she's partway through the year, so that explains that drop in the budget. Human resources, we didn't spend all of the allocated funds. Office building, we definitely spent the funds. Solicitor, you can see barely spent any on the solicitor last year. And other, the other was EMO, and we barely spent anything. Well, we spent a chunk of the EMO, but that was for the folio. No, this is for this year. Sorry, it's not coming to me at the moment. There's just, I'll swing back to that, I just give it a thought. Financial management, obviously that's what we budgeted for the audit itself for last year, and it came out a little bit under that. Other was outside, that's for outside accounting service assistance, and we did use some of that. Down to your liability insurance, this one was a little bit iffy, and we were over budget, but I didn't know how much the fire vehicles were going to cost us. So that's why I see a difference there. Cost of assessment, that's always standard, that's made known to us beforehand. And then you'll see the grants to organizations, municipal association membership. Obviously, we never. Council never joined UMB last year, but I was a member of the A and B, so that's what you'll see in the line from there. Second year deficit from the LSD, and then other. You see the final balances there. On page 20, productive services for expenditures. You'll see that for our service agreements, that means the agreements that we have with the city of Fredericton and Nackwick Millville for their the coverage of their areas, or their coverage of our Central York community areas that they oversee. Emergency measures. You see. 20,000. Animal control, that's something that's always made known to you for your budget. A lot of, and then some of these are obviously the service commission fees. Page 21. Revenue and expense support expenditures for our environmental health services. As I mentioned, there was a difference in the tipping fees for 2024, so you'll see that there was a drop. Recycling, as you know, we stopped paying for recycling in April of last year, so that's looked after by another entity altogether now. Local planning, all of these are standard fees, that are easy to budget for. You'll see under the beautification and land development for 30,000, we didn't spend it, so that's why there's a drop there. The recreation facilities, we were a little over budget. Altogether, the news out of this is that there's surplus for going forward through your 2026 budget is a little over $300,000 this fall. Quite a difference that fire services make.
Could I have a motion to approve this draft financial budget, audited budget? Moved by Councilor Downey, seconder. Seconded by Councilor Drake. Okay, now do we have any questions on this audit? I'll start with one. When do we do transfers to reserves? Before the budget this fall? That's when we start, if we
Well,
want,
it has to be transferred prior to your
prior to
year end.
2025.
Year end, yeah, like December 31st.
But when we transfer to reserves, that removes it out of
Right,
budget.
and this year, I'd have to, what was the budget this year? I think it was around 70,000, I believe. I'd have to go back and double check, but yeah, it just has to be transferred prior to year end.
Okay.
If you proceed with that.
Yes. Any other questions?
I get a question here. On page 16, at the bottom here, there's a note about the general operating reserve being limited to 5% of our general expenditures and having a bit more than we should have in that account.
Yes.
Is there any, like, penalty for that, or is
No.
it just a?
No, we're a little bit over, yes.
Okay,
But yes, there's, you have to keep it limited as it states, so.
okay.
Any other questions? If none, all of those in favor? Contrary minded, any? Motion carried. So we don't have a mayor's report for this evening. There's been enough function since the last one. New business. We don't have any new business. Anyone wants to bring it up? Good. Okay, we had a closed session, we had a topic here, but that's removed for this evening, so we don't need a motion for closed session, so I guess now we're